Yo, this is WSoul13 bringing you Raid Shadow Legends. And we are going to be doing a very I'd say it's a new archetype that I may have come up with for normal against Dark Fae. So most people really are gonna have a hard time with the Dark Fae Doom Tower, and even at normal, even after they've nerfed Bommel. So we've already seen like sustained teams be able to get through Bommel 90, right? In my particular case, I just went the Solar Templar route. Okay, so I'm gonna show you kind of like how I got through normal with Scyl of the Drakes, and also that Scyl of the Drakes isn't as important in the waves compared to the actual boss fight. So I'm gonna show you some things, okay? So first, we're gonna do the wave team, and then we're gonna go through the bosses from the bottom all the way up, okay? So for the wave teams, this was not the team, of course, so we're gonna click best teams, and we're gonna take a look at what I ran for this. I'm not even in the top 10 because it took so long. That's for my Doom Tower hard teams. So what I did was I did Haikatoon, Kale, Alexander or War Maiden. They're interchangeable, doesn't really matter. And then I did Archmage Helmet. Okay. So really, before you would get to the top of Doom Tower, it's not that it's hard to do without getting lucky. It's possible. You can do it with Broadmaw, you can do it with Valerie, but it's just the sustaining through the waves isn't as great as having control and sustain in the waves, right? So this would be the team I climbed up normal with. But you know, you could honestly just do something like this. Probably, we'll see. Let's see. Let's test that theory out. Okay, so let's do. All right. So like I said, the waves isn't as important in terms of having Scyl in your account, because like you can get through waves with just the F2P Trinity plus control, you know. But let's see for ourselves. Obviously, I've done it before with I think Gnarlhorn. Who else was my fifth? I think I had Valerie, Gnarlhorn, Kale, War Maiden, and Haikatoon. The only thing that Broadmaw does for us is Broadmaw can pick up anybody that happens to fall down, like right there. So we could reset quickly enough for the next waves, you know. But you can kind of like notice here how control is so much more valuable in waves than just having a carry champ. So if this run happens to fail, we're gonna try using Gnarlhorn there instead of Broadmaw. But you know, this is basically like a Dragon's 20 team right here. So your Dragon's 20 team is kind of good enough to get to slog through the waves. It's not going to be the fastest way to slog through the waves, but it's going to be good enough. Okay, so we're almost done with this wave right here. It's going to be a matter of getting rid of this Provoker. Is that Solus? Anyways, yeah, see, you're kind of getting the gist right here of why this is a very decent way to get through the waves. Obviously, if you manual through, like right now, so if we're gonna manual through, a good thing to do would just be the A1 through that last part. hopefully have our abilities reset for the next wave. So Valerie is really good here because she gives us some initial shields, which just allows us to survive the initial nukes that they're going to put on us. Let's see if we can do it. Okay, one martial law down. And of course, RNG kind of factors in to the runs. So I just wanted to show you right here that these floors are possible without Scyl of the Drakes. Obviously, I've done it before without Scyl of the Drakes. This was especially for Doom Tower 1 and 2, Frostbiter and Eternal Dragon. You don't need Scyl of the Drakes to get all the way up to 120. Although it is going to be a little bit hard to do without Scyl of the Drakes. Alright, so I think you pretty much got the gist here. That any team that got you through Dragon's 20 has a very good chance of getting you through floor 119 of waves. So all the waves, all the way up to floor 119. And with a little bit of manualing on some of the more difficult waves. So now we're going to go through the boss fights. So the boss fights are definitely easier with Scyl of the Drake. So let's start with Bomel 10. With Bomel 10, you could basically run anything with Scyl of the Drakes. It'll work. So I just did a kind of like a sustain version for Bomel 10. Scarab King is one of the trickier bosses in the game to fight. You're going to want an Armiger with Destroy set, and you're going to want Valerie with Shield set or another Shield Generator type champ with Shield set on, just to get that initial shield going. You could have them not have Shield set on, and then you're going to manual, right? But having Shield set on gives you an option to have it on auto and still get through. And Scyl basically kind of like ensures the run finishes. So instead of Lordly Legionary here, something you could do would be another a solo shield champ. So the meta way to do Scarab King without a solo champ is going to be one shield champ that can cover you for the whole duration. So something like 2-turn cooldown, 2-turn duration, like Lordric Falconheart, or a 3-turn cooldown, 3-turn duration like Miscreated Monster. You're going to do it on manual, unfortunately. I mean, you can auto it, but with Miscreated Monster, there was a bug before. I don't know if they fixed the bug. And the rest are going to be decreased turn meter champs to just turn meter lock Scarab King. And that's it. You want one Armiger with Destroy set, basically. That's it. This could be Cold Heart as well, because the enemy max HP damage scales better with the Destroy set against Scarab King. Now there's so many ways to kill Scarab King because they've enabled some of the champs we had before to beat him, like Scarlord Vargal and Rotos can now do their enemy max HP damage, their decreased enemy max HP stuff against Scarab King. So the next one up is Celestial Griffin. For Celestial Griffin, you really just want to pile on as much damage as you can with whatever champs you have. So this is like the F2P Trinity plus Archmage Helmet and Scyl. Makes the fight really easy. Dark Fae. So the first few versions of Dark Fae, I think the first couple of versions, you don't really need to play around her mechanics. So like what I did was I just put a bunch of squishy champs together, and then I just made sure that, you know, I go High Katoon, Speed Boost, Archmage Helmet will stun my entire team, and then I just do War Maiden Kale, and then that's it. Game over. That should be easy from there. Right? So, did I change up the Bommel team? Oh yeah, I did. So for 50, I needed to add decrease attack into the mix. So if you have a decrease attack champ, this will work on 50. This is why what I'm going to show you on 90 makes more sense, especially if you don't have a decrease attack, champ. But most of you will by this point of the game. You should have a decrease attack champ. And that's going to be a lucky pull, right? And decrease attack is pretty good to like keep Bommel's damage output low, so you can sustain through the fight with Scyl of the Drakes. Shield Guard is just there because even with multiple bombs out, Shield Guard can trigger that extra turn basically by gaining more turn meter off hitting those bombs with his AoE. It's pretty fun actually to have Shield Guard there. And then Scyl of the Drake, she does have decreased turn meter on her A1. So a tip for you on manual is once Bommel puts a bomb out, you have Scyl of the Drake's A1 the bomb instead of the boss. Yeah, so it just decreases the chance of you getting a decreased turn meter and getting an extra bomb on and ruining your run. So, is it the same team? Yeah, it's practically the same team. You're using that same team, logically, Lord Legionary as an extra decreased turn meter champ, but really, you probably want a second Armiger there, most people. That's just like for posterity, just to fill up the team. He's not a key part of that team. Celestial Griffin, we're running the same team, and it's still viable, all the way to 70. Dark Prey 80. So now we're adding Dark Elaine into the mix. So Dark Elaine allows us to clear our entire team and get through Dark Prey 80. So at some point, a lot of people run this comp of something that can clear and then decrease turn meter across the board to keep Dark Fae from taking too many turns. The main problem with that is even with 2 Armigers and a Cold Heart, it's a little bit hard to keep Dark Fae from taking too many turns. That's how hard it is at 120 to do that strategy, which is why I came up with a new strategy, which I'm going to show you right now. But first, Bommel 90. This, around the time that you get Scyl of the Drake, so you're it's like 6 months in, you should start thinking about leveling up a Templar for Bommel specifically. So Templar can be scaled up all the way to 90 hard. Of course, the caveat is the gear is extremely hard to put together. It's possible, even for an F2P low spender, to put that gear together, but it'll take time, and it's going to be very hard to do. And for most people anyway, a lot of people are stuck at hard 40, even if they get past Bommel 10 hard, and you can do that with Templar, which is cool. That's why I like Templar here, just to invest in him, just so you can get through this boss. You can get the extra void shards. It's worth it for, I don't know, an extra 3-4 void shards a month every time this rotation comes in. So every 3 months you get an extra 3-4 void shards maybe that you would never have had, unless you have a solo champ that can beat Bommel, or they tune Bommel down so we can use other strategies. But for now, I'm recommending that you get a Templar for Bommel specifically. He can get you through Bommel 90. You don't have to worry about having like this amazing sustain comp to get you through Bommel 90. Scarab King, I think we did the same thing. Yeah, it's the same team. So Scarab King normal is actually not that hard to take down anymore, because we know the mechanics now. So as long as you have a shield that can cover, as long as you have a destroy set on your Armiger or your enemy max HP damage champ, like Cold Heart would be a good one too here. Royal Guard actually is surprisingly not bad here with destroy set, because he has that is it A2 that can put decreased turn meter and put decreased speed on, and he is a strong affinity here, So there are many options for Scarab King now. As far as solo bosses, there are so many ones now. Apothecary can do it. Of course, we know Vergis is amazing here. Now we know Cornelia is actually pretty good as a solo champ. Plenty of options. Celestial Griffin, we're kind of the same team still. I think I brought Dark Elaine in. That would be the big addition, just for a little bit more damage. But you know, with Scyl of the Drakes gives you that sustain to be able to bring in damage dealers into your comps and still do really, really well. But now let's look at the kind of the reason why you're here, right? Which is the new way to beat Dark Fae 120 normal. I'm not sure if this is scalable all the way up to hard 120, but I have been able to scale it hard 40 at least. So I'll show you right now how the comp works. The comp can be full auto actually, but you know the success rate is going to be lower if you're full on full auto. And I think Scyl, I may have too much stats on her, because I know to do this run correctly the last time I took some stats off Scyl just so she can be knocked out a little bit easier. Okay, so we're gonna manual through here, and I'm gonna show you the strategy just so you guys can repeat it. So over here at this part of the waves, you're gonna want the A1 through, and you're gonna want Filja or Dark Elaine to pick up some KOs here. And the reason why is they have the mastery Whirlwind of Death. It just gives them extra speed. So this allows you to build them with more damage and a little bit less speed. So once they have that Whirlwind of Death fully triggered, I think it's 3 kills each, if I'm not mistaken. They need to have 3 kills each. So once that's fully triggered for both of them, it'll be a lot easier for you to, there we go. Let's see if that should be good. Okay. So this is what I'm talking about right here. High Katoon is going to speed boost. Once High Katoon speed boosts, right? Oh, man. I think this messes it up because, it's supposed to be Archmage Helmet that goes next. Okay, so I got the stuns, so that's fine. But it's supposed to be Archmage Helmet that goes next. And Archmage Helmet is going to target the slowest guy on the team, which is going to be Filja or Dark Elaine. And they won't be able to take a turn. So I'm going to do that, and they're going to stun. Once everybody is stunned, you're going to use your Filja or whoever your AoE nuker is to clear the team. So the only thing here is you're going to need 2 AoE nukers. Okay, so Scyl is going to cause a problem here because I have too much stats on her. So we're hoping this is enough to kill Scyl. Okay, it's not enough to kill Scyl. That is definitely a major problem. So I need a little bit more stats on Scyl here. Okay, so we got Scyl. Unfortunately, this Dark Elaine might go off. This Dark Elaine goes off, the run is over. But I think you're kind of getting the gist here, right? Okay, we got the Dark Elaine down. Right, good. So now once you've cleared your own team through control and carry elements, you can put it on auto and they're just going to do their thing. So this is a control and carry method to get through Dark Fae. Majority of the meta comps I've seen out there are either the pure offense comps with Leech. So that's actually a really strong way to do it too. But the stat requirements for those kinds of comps are way higher than this. This allows you to have like more minimum type stats, but still be able to get through Dark Fae with your control and carry champs. You just need to stack them up in a way where your control champ is going to go first. So that was a mistake because I had too much stats on Scyl. You can fix that by just taking stats off Scyl without destroying the set that you want her to be on. So like for mine, I want her on Relentless. She doesn't have to be on Relentless. She can be on Life Seal, Regen, whatever you want. The point really here is that your control champ, AoE control champ, needs to go ahead of everybody else. That way he can lock down the entire enemy team, right? And this comp is able to squeeze in High Katoon, which is allows you a little bit more leeway on your stats. Because even at 120, you're going to need 200 speed to outspeed Dark Fae. It's crazy. That's why 200 plus speed. That's why you want High Katoon in here for the speed aura. And the speed aura just allows you to pack more stats into your guys and not focus too much on the speed, and have everybody on like 170-ish speed would be enough with the buffs and the Whirlwind of Death procs from the run all the way up to Dark Fae. But your AoE control champ has to go first and just lock down that whole team for that one round, so you can snowball into killing that team. And then now you can have a Dark Fae fight with Scyl of the Drakes active. And if you've ever fought Dark Fae before, this is huge, bros. Yeah, because a lot of the reasons why the Dark Fae comps fail is because you don't put enough decreased turn meter on. Even with Allure sometimes, some of those runs can fail because you get some resists and Dark Fae takes turn and that's it. The run is over, right? With this comp, you're allowing a lot more margin of error as long as you're able to manual through the clone wave, you know, of your team. So Dark Fae is kind of like this weird boss where instead of 2 waves before the boss, you actually have 3 waves before the boss. So I just kind of like approached it like that. I approached it like, okay, so I'm not dealing with 2 waves before the boss. I'm dealing with 3 waves before the boss. And I have to figure out, how do I deal with the last wave? The last wave being the clone of your whole team, right? So this is where it gets hairy, honestly. This is where it gets hairy. It's every time Dark Fae triggers this skill, which is, what is this? The spawn a mirror copy of an enemy team member. That's where the run can get hairy, because I think this puts True Fear out as well. True Fear on all enemies, yeah. That's where it gets a little bit hairy for the run, which means you may have to do it over and over again. But the thing about Doom Tower is that you don't necessarily need to farm Doom Tower, especially early in the game. You just want the clear so you get your Void Shard, you know? So for me, this is a really good way to get that clear and still be able to get your Void Shard and get your Void Shard and like get your bonuses, you know. So there is a little bit of risk to the runs. The runs does carry some risk with it, but at the same time, it's definitely a lot more doable than just going the pure decreased turn meter route or having like the huge burst of damage from Cold Heart or Ninja, which some people at this stage of the game won't have Cold Heart or Ninja, you know. So as long as you're able to control these mirror copies that she spawns, the fight should go in your favor eventually, you know. Yeah. Just like that. And then Scyl, of course, is just amazing. She could just bring your team back from the brink of annihilation and just kind of like fight all the way back up. So yeah, do I have a hard Doom Tower version of the same team? Yes, I do. It's the exact same team I run for all my other Doom Tower vids. I figured out a way to have them run practically the same way against Dark Fae. I'm not sure though if it's scalable all the way up to 120. That's the thing. So I'm not like gonna say, oh, this solves Dark Fae 120 for you. I'm not hard. Dark Fae 120 normal? Yes, it does. It can solve Dark Fae 120 normal. If you don't happen to have a Lure, Cold Heart, you know. With Cold Heart, this is a lot easier, honestly, with Cold Heart, because you get a lot more decreased turn meter and you get the enemy max HP damage. So yeah, just having a couple of Cold Hearts here, or just one Cold Heart, will make a big difference, you know. And the run does take a while to finish, obviously, because, well, that's just the way the team is. Is this a countdown for spawning mirror copies of the whole team? So the other little caveat here is, once the mirror copies of the whole team respawns, the chances of you winning the fight goes down by a lot, because your skills might not be on cooldown, you know. So this is where kind of like auto is not as good at this point of the game. But you can kind of like do what you did before again, you know. So it's not like it's totally impossible to do on manual. I mean, 10-20 minutes of manual to get a void shard. A lot of people would do that, to be honest, right? So that's it. I just kind of like came up with a way to have an extra out for Dark Fae. And this same comp will work, well, not this exact same team, but the same concept will work on Hard Doom Tower if you have the right champs for it, you know. So you still do need the champ that can clear the entire team. So in this case, I have Dark Elaine that can do that. So once you start bringing in like, okay, so this is where it gets hairy, right? Okay. If you can't get through this part, the run is over. So I've already made this run work before. All right, I'm not gonna show like exactly. You can RNG through it is the point. But that's cool though, right? You can see the potential there, right? Okay, so I'm gonna show you my the hard version of that same team. So the hard version of that same team is my Hard Doom Tower Wave Clear team, right? Which is going to have Scyl of the Drakes and Vizix in it. You do want AoE decreased defense just so you're sure that Seer can clear with the AoE slam, but you know it doesn't really matter as long as you've worked out the damage that you can actually clear your team. So that's it. So that same run earlier, if you had it on manual and you can like predict the turn that your team will respawn, you're gonna be able to do the same thing again and snowball the same way. So you're gonna go Hackathon speed up, and then you're gonna go AoE stuns, and then you're gonna go okay, clear the team with Dark Elite. You know, the same exact thing, and that's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this version of Dark Fae 120 normal.